In a Korean publishing company works Hyunjin. She's the editor-in-chief there, and she's the best when it comes to doing her work. Very detail-oriented and likes to check every step to ensure perfectionism. Anyway, the company faces some challenges, as some of the writers aren't available. Ironically, the writer who writes about health got sick, the one who writes about law got scammed, and the one who's supposed to write the new book series about single life got pregnant. The thing is, this new book is divided into two parts that cover living a single life in a big city. They have a writer already living in Barcelona to cover the first part. Now they need a writer to cover single life in Seoul, so they are all searching for the person to fill the job. And here comes the role of Young-ho. He's an instructor that teaches article writing to college students who are preparing for their entrance exam. He's so strict and professional all the time. Once he finishes the class, he takes no words from anyone. Neither his students asking him, nor his colleagues offering to hang out together. He enjoys the company of himself, just him, his book, and dinner alone. Then he goes home to his cat to read and enjoy the view from his apartment silently. However, he has something extra he enjoys. He's an influencer on Instagram with about 300,000 followers. This account promotes single life and how it's way better to live alone than be in a relationship. Anyway, while the CEO was searching for a writer, he stumbled upon Young-ho's profile and thought he's the one they need. Then he asked Hyunjin to meet him and finish the contract quickly. Hyunjin found his writing okay, but from his profile, he seems to be neat freak, stubborn, narcissist, lonely, and has no friends. Surprisingly, Young-ho is right behind her, confirming these traits proudly. She didn't have the time to be embarrassed because once she saw him, she recognized him immediately. She was his junior in college and waited excitedly for him to welcome her, but he said he doesn't even remember her. She didn't believe it and kept getting closer, creeping him out, until her boss forced her to get into business. After that awkward meeting, Young-ho tried to ask the CEO to write the book without Hyunjin, but the boss told him, when it comes to books, Hyunjin is the best in her work. He kept praising her until all his words meant nothing when Young-ho saw how clumsy she is. After that, Hyunjin wrote the contract terms and offered it to Young-ho. There was a bad disagreement at first, but he ended up signing it because he dreams to be a writer, so he didn't want the opportunity to be wasted. Then she offered to drive him home on her way. Shocked is a simple word to describe what he saw in the car. It's like it has never been cleaned since she bought it. He couldn't believe how could a person breathe in there. After talking, Hyunjin realized that he definitely remembers her, but he acted that way just to avoid talking. Then she went to a special bookstore. She goes there every Wednesday to meet a crush who treats her very nicely. The thing is, she's not really good in reading the signs and has a knack for misunderstanding situations. For instance, she was sitting in a cafe and a man beside her threw a paper. She thought it was a love letter, only to find out it was just the receipt. Another time, when she thought the fitness instructor asked her to have dinner, but was surprised when she saw he invited the whole group. Anyway, back to Young-ho, he started writing his essay about single life. He literally tried to show that the biggest mistake anyone could do to themselves is not to be single, because relationships are stressful, make you act all the time, and never to be yourself. So to be free of all the restraints, you have to be single. Hyunjin was suffering after reading it, as it was very depressing. She thought he never knew love. But her boss told her that he had a first love and some relationships after it, but none of them worked out for him. So Hyunjin went straight to him while he was taking some images for the book. After moving around him for a long time, he started telling her about some of his relationships. He was dumped many times for stupid reasons. He was told he's too kind. Literally, that was the only reason. Another one left him for another man, and so on. And when Hyunjin kept nagging him to talk about his first love, as people tend to read about it, he recalled the only relationship he was happy in. Back then, he was a student and went to work in a hotel, as part of the room service team. There, he met Hong, a pretty smart girl who had just joined recently too. One by one, they got closer, as both were interested in reading. They spent most of their time together. Even during work, they were having fun and confessed their love to each other. Until one day, she changed her attitude, started to be cold and careless. One day, he was waiting for her to go see a movie as promised, but she left him for the team dinner, saying she will talk to him back at home. She suddenly disappeared. She never came back to him. He was broken-hearted and crying heavily until he bought something expensive for himself for the first time. And instead of saving his money for a relationship, he sensed happiness in its purest form and started investing his time, money, and efforts only on himself. He even wrote his own name on the love lock to show his love for himself and was celebrating every day of life since then. He wrote all of that and ended his part of the book. At that time, Hyunjin was searching for an apartment to move to. Once he knew, he went to help her choose one as he is obsessed with details, so he actually helped her see through the tricks to find the best one. The next day, Hyunjin went to the same bookstore she goes to usually and met her crush, who gave her a gift. She thought this time she can't be wrong and sent a message to the crush telling him to be brave and ask her out. After this bold message, she went with Youngho and the whole team to celebrate as the book was almost done. While they were having fun together, Hyunjin saw her crush with another woman, so she was embarrassed as heck and went to hide in the men's bathroom and was locked there by accident. Luckily, Youngho went to check on her. Once she told him about the message she sent to the crush, he was laughing non-stop. He couldn't believe she really did that. To save her some face, he helped her leave the place unnoticed by her crush and kept running until they were safe. For a moment, they were attracted to each other until the taxi they ordered came and each of them went home. Youngho was happy and totally lost in the moment. Once he saw his smile reflection on the window, he was like, I will never go back to relationships, and started writing again to escape his intrusive thoughts. He took a break and stopped going to the company. So Hyunjin thought he might be suffering from writer's block and went to check on him. For the first time, he was nervous because he and his house were a mess. So he changed his outfit quickly, opened the door, and acted as if everything's fine to force her go. But she just entered and started getting him to talk. They listened to some music and suddenly they confessed their love to each other. The next day, something happened that changed everything. The writer Hong, who's responsible for writing the second part of the book, came to Korea and had a meeting with them. It turned out she was the first love of Youngho. She was writing using a nickname in order not to be known, and she wrote the same story as Youngho in her book from her perception, making Youngho is the one who was pushy somehow. In a slip of a tongue, the CEO confessed that he chose Youngho from the beginning because he knew about his relationship with Hong and wanted to use this to market the book. Youngho felt used and decided not to publish his book, no matter how hard Hyunjin tried to convince him. He even didn't show up for the radio show to promote the book, and Hong did it alone. He was listening to her at home. She said that she loved him, but she wanted to be responsible for herself, as they were young and foolish. That's why she left. Hearing that, Youngho recalled some memories and realized that he tweaked the story to fit his narrative too, and he wasn't all innocent, as he thought. So he changed his mind and decided to publish the book, and wrote an optimistic intro wishing everyone to find happiness in their lives. The book was out there everywhere. However, it didn't get the success they were aiming for. He was just glad with the experience of his first book ever, and even went to say goodbye to Hong before she travels back to Barcelona. This time, he apologized, and they ended it peacefully as friends. After that, the CEO resigned and Hyunjin became the new CEO. After some time, Youngho went to meet Hyunjin with a new novel he wrote. This time, he's willing to accept her help. Finally, he asked her to hang out and she gladly accepted.